this is Jay Dragon, and I'd like to welcome you to the Dragon Den. These Jordans, I was sitting right there. These are really screwed up right there at the front on the platinum leather, so I sit right there and started to clean it first. What it really needs is a cleaning, you know. And anyway, I couldn't get the knot out, so I sit right there and went backwards and worked my way up to where the knot is when I started taking the shoestrings out. And basically, we sit right there, prepped it, got the shoe tree, get ready to put into it, get it ready to clean out. And you know what the shoe trees basically do. They sit right there and straighten out the shoe, getting rid of any of the wrinkles. See, I like to have two soft brushes, this big one and the little one. The little one helps a lot more when I'm sitting right there using it to clean inside the shoes. Just be careful of doing your soft materials, like where the yellow stuff is. You ain't gotta go so hard, just the way it looks in the video. I got this thing speeded up. So anyway, we're gonna sit right there and go on the inside with the little one, and wherever else spaces that we couldn't normally reach with the big one. So I'm gonna sit right there and pre-treat it before we sit right there and put this in the washing machine. So as we're sitting right there and washing real hard, so when I got these shoes, I wanted to sit right there and think of a different idea. I was thinking of more of a splatter effect, but that didn't really pan out the way I wanted it to, and I've done it. And but anyway, right here we started cleaning with some real stiff brushes to sit right there and get inside the cracks and all that stuff at the bottom of the shoes. And you see somebody's been walking in some mud or dirt or something before I got these. So anyway, when they look like that, it's time to clean them. It's best to clean them before you put them in the washing machine sometimes, but sometimes it's probably the other way around after you've done some of the work. That way there ain't no material on the top of the shoes in the area where you're supposed to be working out. But that's also where you can sit right there and use the acetone. But anyway, I started to take these scissors and going around and getting these little rocks and stuff that you couldn't get out, extra dirt. So I got a copper brush, and I used that to help clean up on the inside too. The copper brush seemed to do a lot more because it was way more stiffer than the black brush that I was using. So right now you can see the shoe looks a lot cleaner, and this pearl blue that I'm going to use later on. So I was talking about the rejuvenator and spraying some of it on the pillar case when you put it in there, and putting the shoestrings in it. So sometimes that does help. That's a good process to help you. So right now I'm sitting right there. I think I'm hitting it with some 150 sandpaper. So I really wanted to go really strong at first, and I think I went a little deep. But anyway, I sit right there. I started to, after I went on it, I went to I think all the way up to a 1500 grit sandpaper afterwards. That way that was a much smoother. The higher the level, the smoother the sandpaper. All right, so what we sit right there and do with that sandpaper is it smooths out more, because it's made to smooth out the paint in your car, on your car, and make it more smoother, say, before you put on your clear coat. And you always want that to be pretty doggone smooth. That way you won't see any imperfections in the clear coat that you put on it. So anyway, you're going to sit right there and tape it up and get it prepped and ready to put the acetone on it. That way you don't get the acetone on any other part that you were worried about it would mess up or anything like that. So that's why we're getting the tape on it right this second, and we're going to sit right there and put the tape on it. And well, I was using my scissors to sit right there and push down into the underneath the leather, so I could sit right there and push the tape down and have it in that area. So I'm sitting right there getting the acetone on it. I wanted to use the acetone from the tin to sit right there and used on the shoe, because platinum leather, you want to sit right there and hit it with some sandpaper. That way it can put some scratches and stuff into it. That way it'll make it easier for the paint to adhere. That's why you sand it down and get all that stuff in. So what we're doing is we're still hitting it down with some acetone, so I can make sure that even after I did the sandpaper, that this process sits right there and cleans it up, gets rid of all the dust and stuff. So I retaped it. I'm putting on the pearl blue. I'm putting it on little coats by little coats, and then eventually it changes the way it looks. And I thought I was just going to go ahead and do it straight up like that and have the color blend in with the other color, but then I realized that the blue and the pearl blue and this really didn't match up as much. So I sit right there and mixed up some other paints like my pearl red, my pearl green, and pearl blue, and I mixed it up with some adhesion promoter. Now this stuff is like taking and spraying your adhesive on it, but you're mixing it in with the paint. So that's basically what it is. It's kind of like a glue mixing with your paint. Not like that cheap stuff, but it's pretty good. But basically I sit right there and started doing a liner part of what I wanted to do and figure out where I wanted to drop off the Phoenix at, and I figured out how I wanted to do it. I had a reference picture and I used it, and it's just basically I used the outline of it, and then the rest you might as well have thrown it away and then sit right there and done it yourself. So basically I sit right there and figured out how I wanted to put the shadows and shades because of that. So I came up with a dark pearl red mixture, which was basically 50% pearl red and 50%, maybe 48% regular red Angelus paint, and then I sit right there and drop maybe 2 or 3 drops of black in it. So, and then it came out a good dark reddish brown color, which I really liked. I really liked it. Then I sit right there and made another mixture with the red pearl, yellow Angelus paint, and some white. A couple of drops of white, sit right there and made it look good. And that's the what I used on the rest of the area. And then I sit right there and used it in thinner coats, and it seemed to work. But when I sit right there and did this process, I wanted to sit right there, make the layer, and I had to let it dry for a couple of hours. That way I know it adhered to the flat leather, and that I know it was staying there. So this took almost a week to figure out how I wanted to do, but this has also been months in the process, planning and figuring out how I wanted to do this. So as you can see, the Phoenix is looking mighty good and starting to pop out more. It's got some detail, but at that process, and I didn't sit right there and wanted to put too detail into it at that point. So what we did was sit right there and added all the other colors in and made sure I knew where I wanted to put my darks, and started figuring out where I'm going to put my lights later on. I use multiple brushes. I use angle brushes. I've used detailed brushes. I've used curved brushes in figuring out how I wanted to do this. So I'm mostly partial to the detailed brushes because I can figure out where I'm going to put the details at, and I've always liked doing my detailed work. So I'm coming around with my pure pearl mixture with the adhesion powder, and I'm putting in the red right now. Now I should be coming up with my dark red that I really like to put on for the like the shadings and figuring it out where I wanted it. So I'm in the process of figuring out where I wanted the darks. See, I did not want to sit right there and redo all of my darks over again and going through the process of it not looking the way I wanted it to, but I just came in and started putting the details in, because you know it's all in the details. So I'm sitting right there, going back, and I'm finding other little places that wouldn't this be easy to sit right there and put it there. So I'm sitting right there, going to be doing a little bit of shading into it, adding extra shading, and it's making the Phoenix look more and popping out more. I know I put a lot of detail into it, but I think I put too much. But anyway, that's the way we do when we're doing something. When we're doing some kind of drawing, sometimes you can sit right there and put not enough detail, and sometimes you can put too much. Now that can also ruin a picture either way, but sometimes I think putting a little too much don't take away from it too much, but not putting enough kind of makes it more like it's flat. So I say sometimes it's best just to put too much than it is to put too less. But anyway, I'm coming up with a silver and red color that I made, so it look like the pearl colors. So because I wanted the colors to pop out, and these are all mixture of the pearl colors, and it's still putting up the same type of color that the shininess that the platinum leather was putting out. And it looked, that's the reason why I thought like pearl blue, because it was popping, it was shiny and everything. So as you can see, I put all that detail in there. I'm sitting right there talking about putting that pearl red and that Angelus white paint and mixing it all together to make the paints that I like. I'm outside, I'm sitting right there spraying shoe down with this clear coat, and I'm not keeping it in frame the whole time, but it is just kind of weird for me to sit right there and do this outside, because I'm used to being in here and doing it in here. But since we got the air conditioner on, I'm just sitting right there. I don't want to do it inside because that's a funky smell. Earlier, the one on the left, like I said, is the original one. The camera moving around. I haven't done yet. All that stuff. So on the left still looks dirty. Still looks filthy, and that's the way it should be redone. Before, well, it cleaned up and like the one on the right. Put paint on it, but you know, I went in, and then on the right side, look how we have the bottom of those shoes look. That's how bad it looked on the right side. Pearl green right there at the bottom. You know what I'm talking about. Make it pop out a little bit more, because I weren't feeling that light green they put down there. Right so on this side where I got my thumb at, it looked so shiny. That's the way I wanted it. And I sit right there, and they all popped that stuff. The flames look like they popped out all the way. I feel great about it. And I sit right there, and I'm planning to do it on the green pearl. Look straight on it. The line's name is opinions in the comments section, and they look so good. That's the reason why I wanted them. I thought they looked so good. What y'all gotta say? I sit right there. If I can answer, I'll figure out how to answer you back. This Phoenix colors that I did, I appreciate it. Really proud of this. I worked really hard on this stuff, and I appreciate y'all for watching. So if you sitting right there looking at the Phoenix, I think the Phoenix like you to hit a like. I think I put a little too much detail into it. But anyway, we ain't gonna be worried about that. Subscribe. We're worried about what we're doing right now and how it looks. Sit right there and do each and every time. This stuff looks good. Sit right there, great, and subscribe for YouTube. And thank you. And if you look at the bottom of the like, subscribe, and all that way cleaner on the right side. I worked hard on it. Look how clean that looks. Hit up. But anyway, like, subscribe, y'all all take care. I appreciate you all. And you can watch this for every videos that I lay down. This is J Dragon signing out. I appreciate you all. Y'all all take care now.